say you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How many more? Tell me now. How many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence to come to your door. Because now it's Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador. How many more? Tell me now. How
Peace and love, family. Welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm part of the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, grassroots organization started by former political prisoner Sekou Odinga, he's one of the founders of the organization. He founded it after doing over 33 years in prison. Please like, please subscribe. And when he came home, he said that he was not going to forget his comrades that were captured, his comrades that needed to be home like he was home. So in the spirit of Sekou Odinga, when we say be Sekou, we mean organized action to free political prisoners. Be about more than a slogan. Be about the commitment to make that happen. So the International African Arts Festival was held from July 4th to July 6th at Fort Green's Commodore Barry Park on Flushing Avenue. The main entrance was Navy Street. And this was a beautiful event, beautiful time. I got to see some people that I haven't seen in a while. The Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition had their table that we usually have. It's been established by Sekou Odinga, a beloved brother by the name of Bashir. He was the person responsible for making sure that we continue to have that table. So salute you, brother. Black clenched fist, salute to you for continuing to make that possible. We were able to get a number of contacts from being out there for those 3 days. I think it was very important to have that table because we're able to represent the political prisoner in these cultural events, these times where we come together to talk about, our issues. There's food, there's dance, there's music, there's vendors selling sculptures, beautiful sculptures. If you have some medical issues, they have some products that help you with that. They have jewelry, whatever you can think of, they have it. And I've been going for the last couple of years, and I've always been impressed. It's a time to reflect on, the journey of people of African descent, wherever you're at, because there's vendors from all over the country and all over the United States, and they're coming together for this time to talk about what's going on, to talk about what they're doing, and we participated in that, and that was extremely beneficial. But for those who don't know about the International African Arts Festival, I just want to brief you on the history of it so that you can familiarize yourself more, so you can save the date for the upcoming year and make sure that you're there. Make sure that you really take time out to see the brilliance of the Black mind, the African mind, and how we can work together and make things happen. I'm always impressed by it, and I will continue to be a part of it. So the International African Arts Festival in Brooklyn began in 1971 as the African Street Carnival. It was initially organized by the East, a Bedford-Stuyvesant community organization, and held in front of their headquarters. The festival has evolved over the years, moving from its original location to Boys and Girls High School's athletic field and eventually the Commodore Barry Park, where it is currently held. It celebrates African and African diaspora cultures through music, dance, art, and more. The 2025 festival is its 54th year and will take place as I just told you. But that is a brief history of it. So you know that people of African descent continue to challenge their minds, continue to challenge their ability to expand this idea, this concept, where we get to celebrate our talents and we get to exchange our thoughts. There's a hall when you come in from Navy Street, and in this hall you have a number of grassroots organizations. They were organizations that's been doing this for over 30 years, such as the December 12th movement. Also, you had organizations that were advocating for normalization of Cuba. That was dear to me. That was very dear to me, and I got some publications on it, and I thought that that was important to make sure that people of African descent includes people from Cuba because of that's great population being of African descent. And I thought that that was important because you know that's not always put into our events and our programs, but to see that there those who were participating in that, you know, that meant a lot, and that was an idea that needed to reflect on our responsibility, right? When we talk about liberation struggle, we talk about, you know, what's going on here, right? We talk about ethnic cleansing, we talk about the violence in our community, we talk about our political prisoners, you know, but there are things happening in other places all around the world. Burkina Faso, they're doing great work in terms of their advancement, in terms of taking their destiny in their own hands, and we need to show support to that. And Cuba, you know, they have to protect the gain of the Cuban Revolution. That was a model for us, and we need to let them know that we're right with them. So to see our comrades out there giving out literature and allowing the community to know the importance of including a Cuban in our talks, making sure that we continue to show solidarity. During that time that I was in that area of that table, you know, I had a conversation with the comrades and with somebody from Cuba, and the person from Cuba was very inspired with what was happening, and I thought that that was very important. It was needed because of, you know, to be somewhere and experience the hardships because of the blockade, and see people in another place fighting to change your reality. You know, that is something that's very inspiring. That is something that's principled, and that is something that we need to continue to work at. I got this postcard. I believe it was from them, and if it wasn't, then I know it's part of that work. But I made sure that I put the stamp on the back and I signed the signature. And if you can't understand what's being written on this card, it says, "Hey, President Trump, Cuba is not a sponsor of terrorism. Remove Cuba from your list." And then it goes into detail about, you know, what is it exactly saying, and it's being sent to Donald Trump at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I think that if you have a number of those cards going to that address, then now it creates a concern that taxpayers, common people have regarding of this administration. But you know, we have more work to do, and we have to be serious about this work. This work requires us to be continuous. But when I learned about experience the International African Arts Festival, I learned that you have a number of people who have deep concern about what's happening to our people, to our communities. And one idea, this is the idea of the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, is our captured freedom fighters, right? We know that they're not terrorists. We know that they're not criminals. We know that they had the courage to stand up and fight back. So the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition had a contact list, and it was able to get over 4 pages, if I'm not mistaken, of people who had an interest in this particular work. So what we have to do with that is to continue to reach out to them, let them know what we're doing, and hear from them. Let's take into consideration their ideas. What do they think should be done regarding our political prisoners? I think that that is one of the benefits, amongst other things, about being at the International African Arts Festival. You get to tell people what you've been doing, and they get to tell you what they think about what you're doing. And now they'll show you some level of support, whether it's a financial donation or exchange contacts so that they can get back in touch with you in terms of what they can do, where they're at, or if they're near you, what times they have available. Because we have to use these moments where we're coming together in these cultural celebrations, because this is an expression of our power, our culture, and we need to decide how we're going to utilize that to advance our ideas. One idea in particular, our political prisoner. How do we use the International African Arts Festival as a stage to advocate for the release of our political prisoner? Sundiata Acoli was there, and he was talking about free all political prisoner. And I think that meant so much to a number of people, because they would come by him, shake his hand, embrace him. I know I made sure I took my picture, even though I have a number of pictures with him. That's still a historical record. It's a picture of me and Sundiata Acoli, 2025 at the International African Arts Festival. So 5, 10, 20 years from now, when people go back to that, they're like, wow, Sundiata Acoli was there. And there was a brother standing with him and advocating for the freedom of other political prisoners. And I think that would make people think about what was being done during that time, and the fact that if there's political prisoners during that time of that person or those people looking at the picture and looking at that historical record, then they'll say, oh, this is what they did during this time. They're still political prisoners. This is something that we need to emulate. And when we emulate it, how can we do it better? Because that's one of the things that I think that one generation should challenge another generation. You should say, okay, here's what we did during these times. That's why a historical timeline is so important, because now you see what were the gain, what were the losses, and how things expanded. And now another generation get to say, okay, this is what you did, but you didn't do this. And this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to add. So I love when somebody comes and sees something that I'm doing and say, oh, I could do it 10, 20 times better. And now my work is done. So those who are coming to the International African Arts Festival, if you have some criticism, if you have some creative ideas, concepts to contribute, do what you need to do. Produce as much as you can, because it requires all of us to do something. Shout out to all the volunteers that were there cleaning up. I had a bag and I put my trash where it should have been. But I know that, things happen and people get caught up in the moment and might not be putting trash where the trash should be. And that's why we had those volunteers. Those volunteers were out there. It was hot, and they did what they needed to do. I know during one time I was eating a meal and I was listening to music, and the brother reminded us that we had to support the International African Arts Festival. It was ours to do it. We had to look for bigger sponsors so that the idea, the concept can grow. And that made me think about the importance of personal contribution to the International African Arts Festival, and in making sure your organizations are stepping up and doing their part to contribute to the advancement of the International African Arts Festival. This was the 54th anniversary of it. Next year will be the 55th, and we want to go on for another 54 and 55 years. But the only way we're going to do that is by participating in it. So for those of you who were not there, you missed a good one, and prepare yourself for the upcoming one. To all those organizations, those grassroots organizations, this allowed us to have a moment to have a serious solidarity, to talk about what each one is doing, to look at the material that each one of us were given. I know a brother gave me a publication from Uhuru, and I didn't read it entirely, but I made sure that I paid the dollar that he was asking for the publication, because I know that that's some serious work that they're doing. And they came back from obstacle that was presented by the state when their leadership was incarcerated on these questionable charges. And that's why we got to be very serious when we talk about our political prisoners, because each and every one of us who are standing up against this oppressive system decides to stand, and our ideas start to resonate with the people, the common people who are oppressed, then the state is going to respond in a certain way. So we need not take any of this lightly, acting like if what happened to somebody can't happen to us. Uh, when I say we, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, were informing the people about the upcoming fundraiser for Kamal Siddiqui. It's going to be at the Langston Hughes Library. That's 100-01 Northern Boulevard, Corona, New York, 11368. The admission is free, but it's a fundraiser. And so the suggested donation in terms of funds we're asking for is $25. So please screenshot this. And if the flyer that I'm displaying right now is not a good copy in terms of giving out to other people, you could email me at Sefu Sankofa, SEFUSANKOFA @gmail.com. I'll give you a better copy. You can also check at freekamal.com, see if the flyer is there. We had the flyer printed in the Jazz Record publication. They claim 23,000 subscribers. So, we're hopeful that, this fundraiser generates enough funds or something that is beneficial towards what we're trying to provide for Kamal Siddiqui, because we have to do this work for ourselves, and we have to inform others about the type of work that we're doing so that we can get what we want. So I'm looking forward to this fundraiser that's going to be July 24th at 7 p.m. Looking forward to Joy Brown, singing her heart out. I was on the phone with her, and very briefly, she said that she's been putting out the date and putting out any additional information pertaining to that. She said that she's going to even learn more about Kamal Siddiqui, and that meant a lot to me, because we have to continue to study our political prisoners, learn their lesson, learn their life, learn their story, learn from them, learn what it means to truly love somebody, to put your life on the line, to commit yourself to going out every day or whatever days you're assigned to doing your work, whether it's speaking on a corner, selling your publication, or organizing the community around issues that they are affected by immediately, such as their rent, such as proper food, and whatever else, police brutality. Sekou Dinger said in one of his interviews, like, whatever you're fighting for now, we were fighting for then. And I think that once you start understanding that relationship between political prisoners and your current situation, you start really appreciating them more. You start saying, wow, somebody actually said that they're going to do something, that they're going to take a definitive position on my current situation. How do I show respect? How do I show my appreciation? Or what Mutulu Shakur said, show gratitude, right? How do we show gratitude towards those who made those immense sacrifices? It has to be in practice. If we're being completely honest and we are conscious of what it means to respect somebody, it has to be in practice. And that's why we, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, is always asking people to write to a political prisoner. Let the political prisoner know that you hear them in terms of their concerns about us, that you are writing because you want to know more about them. You are writing because you have compassion and respect for them. You are writing because you are interested on how you can help. I know some people are skeptical about getting involved. Some people are intimidated by this current administration, or just the fact that we live in the United States, and the United States has a history of just being brutal in terms of oppressing people. And some people don't want no part of what may or may not happen. But the fact is, we will continue to allow our oppression to continue if we don't get involved. I think another benefit of attending the International African Arts Festival was when you seeing others doing the work that you're doing, you get further inspiration. You might be tired. You might have been doing organized work for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? And now you see others doing it half your age or a third of your age, and now you show appreciation. Now you get that extra boost to continue for the duration of your life, because this is a lifetime commitment. right? If you say you love yourself, then you prepared to fight for what's best for you. If you say you love your family, then you're prepared to fight for what's best for your family. If you say you love your community, right? Your community is your family. It's an extension of your family. Then you have to be prepared to actually do something. So when you attend in the International African Arts Festival and seeing a number of grassroots political organizations getting involved and you talk to them, these are moments where you are learning from one another, finding inspiration from one another, getting politically educated from one another. And now you say, okay, I'm prepared to move forward, right? Because before you know it, it'll be Black August. And Black August will give us another time to reflect on who made what contributions, who made what sacrifices, and how we need to show our appreciation. What should we be doing? What organizations should we be a part of? And how much should we give them if we really are serious about liberation? Because that is exactly what the International African Arts Festival is about. It's about being serious about our liberation, because it is about our self-determination, our right to exist, our right to control our own destiny. So when you hear songs being sung, that's an expression of our culture. When you see in fashions being worn by our sisters and our brothers, our youth and our babies, that's an expression of our culture. It's an expression of on a weapon of choice, right? Because you have other ideas that circulate regarding how Africans are looked upon. And now you're challenging that. You're saying, this is my culture, this is what I love, and this is important to me. And it's so important to me that I'm going to express it to my community, and I'm going to express it with dignity and pride. And that is exactly what the International African Arts Festival does for a number of people. I know one of my comrades I seen, he had his granddaughter there, and I said, wow, you're doing the right thing. You're bringing her around this. And I said, take advantage of that while you have that authority, right? Because me being a parent, and my son is about to be 21, so, he's officially an adult, at least in the terms of society. And when you want to talk about legal things, and even doing things on his own, right? He could get a drink legally. He could do a number of things legally in the arrangement of society. But, at that point, you don't have the same level of authority you had when your child is 11, 10, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, right? So we're molding our children, and we're molding our children amongst like minds, people who love being of African descent, people who love our music, people who love our fashion, people who love being around each other. And they're getting to see that. So as their minds start to develop and they start to understand more about what's going on in the world that they live, now they know they have options. They have options like the International African Arts Festival, right? Somebody's telling you something about your people. You say, no, that doesn't happen. I was at the International African Arts Festival. I seen people of like mind. I seen Black people in the medical field. I seen Black people who made their own clothes. I seen Black people who made their own food. I seen Black people running their own businesses. I seen Black people be polite to one another. At the International African Arts Festival, you didn't see no fighting. I didn't see no arguing. That lets you know that, what's being shown on TV, what's being heard on the radio, there's not the representation if it's not positive, if it's not constructing about the entire population of people of African descent, right? We know we hard workers. We know we love one another. We know that we are out here because we want the best for one another. And we know how to disagree professionally in terms of being respectful, of saying, okay, that's your idea, your concept. I don't necessarily agree with it. And you might not agree with mine, but yet and still, we know that we have to find a way to have solidarity. We know we have to find a way to support each other. And the International African Arts Festival allows us to see that happening, see it working. And just imagine if this idea concept is replicated in other places like California, places like Atlanta, right? Where we have a condensed population of Black people of African descent. Just imagine the mindset that it would trigger with our youth. Our youth will understand that, oh, I have a role in my community. I have to be responsible. I have to walk with dignity and pride. I have to let others know that, oh, the work that we have for one another and for our future is some serious work. It's work that requires time. It work that requires discipline and focus. But as I said earlier, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition was able to get a number of contacts. With those contacts, we are going to be in touch with people, let them know the importance of writing to political prisoners. So that's why, I want those who are viewing to please take this assignment very seriously. Pick one of the political prisoners, if not all, when I display their address, that you are writing to. If you haven't done it, please do so. And when you do write to a particular political prisoner, let me know on the next time I come on the show. The next time the show is aired, which is every Wednesday from the hours of 1 to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let me know who you wrote to, so it can catch on with viewership, and push somebody or encourage somebody to do something, to do some writing, that is. And let me know when that person writes, because once we start doing that, then we have a collective of people committed to writing to political prisoners. And now that political prisoners begins to have that strong support unit system. And I know rather that's very important, because I wouldn't be where I'm at in life without my support system. People think your support system is always about financial support. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. With me, sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time, I want to be heard. I want you to listen to what I'm talking about. I want to feel your critical thinking, and in that, you're lifting me up. You're helping me to further understand my value, to understand that I'm needed, I'm appreciated, I'm wanted. And when a person understands that, it gives you that internal strength. It builds that internal strength. And that's exactly what our political prisoners are models of. They are models of people who are staying on principle and have an incredible strengthened internal strength because of their view, because of their understanding of what it takes to actually free your people. It takes willing to put it all on the line. It takes sacrifices. It takes missing important family moments, because you have to be somewhere organizing. You have to be at a particular event. You might be a keynote speaker because of your level of qualifications, and that date and time and place that is scheduled conflicts with something that you had to do, or you were told you were supposed to do in terms of being involved. And those are challenges. But to witness your people continuously being oppressed, and that to deal with that intellectually, mentally, is very challenging, right? But once you start organizing, once you commit yourself to actually doing the work, now you start to feel better. Mumia Abu Jamal said, your resistance is your way of staying sane. I'm paraphrasing, excuse me, but that's the gist of what he was saying. Your ability to stand up and fight back. You feel human. You feel like this is what is necessary. This is what I'm going to commit myself to do. And I'm not going to stop till the objective is won. So I'm coming to a close on this episode. I'll be back next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Please please share, and please make time to write to a political prisoner. Peace and love, family.
Sail the sea, Indians live proud and free before the oppressor's slavery. Black people live proud and free. How many more? Tell me now, how many Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence